Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. Davis. I'm here to read our daily reflection from A Grateful Heart Unwrapping Life's Gifts by Sandra Schuck Garant. And today's reflection is entitled Nature. What if our world was lit only by shades of gray? What if it was flat and still and overcast skies lasted for years? What if we had only a few leafy greens and a fruit or two, and perhaps a few rodents and some predators? Instead, we get rainbows, roses, rhinoceroses, and Mount Rainier. We have thunder and thistles, waves and wallabies. We've got variety. The weather, the plants, animals, and the land and the water around us always offer us something new to explore. Look up and explore the sky. Enjoy an ever changing masterpiece of blue and white or black and white. We don't just have clouds, we've got cirrocumulus and altostratus and cumulonimbus and nimbostratus and much more. We have sunrise and sunset, comets, shooting stars, full moons, and the Milky Way. We've got an incredible bond with the sky. For the extreme heat energy of stars that exploded long ago forged the elements that make up our physical bodies. A star's death gave us matter for life. We are part of nature, yet we transcend it, because our spiritual side reaches up to God. We spend a lot of time and money trying to get back to nature, but we already are a very real part of nature. The most we can do is erect a few temporary barriers, like air conditioning and incandescent lights. On the other hand, I haven't heard many people say, I've got to get back to the supernatural. It may not seem as real to us because we can't experience it completely through our senses. Not surprisingly, we often look up to the sky for an experience of the supernatural. Until very recently, we couldn't reach the sky. Its distance and infinity have no parallel here on earth. The sky illustrates for us a model of the supernatural, although it is not any more supernatural than the earth. We can reflect on the night sky and enjoy its immensity and magnificent constellations. Our minds try to see the order of the stars, showing that we want to appreciate and understand those very distant parts of the universe, even as they speed farther and farther away from us. People of all times and places have seen beautiful pictures in the night sky. We can find pictures in the clouds and in faces on the moon. How incredible is it that we have a blue sky, the only one in our solar system and possibly the only one in our universe? Have you noticed how the sky subtly changes its shade of blue during the day? Have you noticed the sharp outlines of birds against white clouds or a green branch filtering sunbeams? Closer to hand and eye, we can look at deserts, plains, mountains, valleys, coastlines, and rolling countrysides. I like to live near trees. Something about a tree helps me feel hopeful and cheerful. It sinks its roots firmly into the ground, yet it stretches towards the sky. A yard without a tree depresses me. The yard may have shrubs and flowers, but I would judge that it lacks something vital. Other people may need flowers or rose bushes or mountains or the sound of the sea. What part of nature do you like? Some interior designers try to simulate important aspects of nature in their clients' homes. It reminds us that even indoors we are part of nature, from the air we breathe to the water we drink. Although we may often take water for granted, we would soon die without it. Consider these astonishing facts about water. When it freezes, it floats. Almost every other chemical compound contracts and becomes heavier when it freezes. But if water did that, fresh water and oceanic life would probably die out, and a lot of our water supply would be frozen solid at the bottom of oceans and lakes. The unusual heat capacity of water keeps Earth's temperature within a relatively narrow range, quite unlike the temperature extremes of our moon, where daytime temperatures climb over 200 degrees higher than at night. Water comprises about 70% of our bodies, even if we don't slosh when we walk. Think about water the next time you wash your hands or take a shower. It gives us life and pleasure. It washes away the day's mental and physical dirt. It cools us down and warms us up. It feels good. Our daily need for water reminds us of our deep need for God, who provides us with spiritual food and drink as well as our daily bread. From fried insects to dried buffalo meat to shrimp to mangoes to rice and spinach, we've got a variety of food. We can set quite a diversified table. We may not choose to eat locusts with wild honey, and herds of buffalo aren't roaming the range, but we do have quite a choice when we look around with an open and appreciative mind. The food supply for many of us in this country, in this century, is very constant as it compared to the food supply only a century ago. Our food production has increased, which is why doomsday predictions of widespread starvation due to overpopulation hasn't yet occurred. Food problems still exist, and we have an obligation to help the poor. But the earth has the capacity to feed its people. Because of good transportation and food preservation systems, we also have the opportunity to sample foods grown on the other side of the world. We have a great deal to be thankful for every time we sit down for a meal. Nature provides us with food, water, beauty, a place to stand and lie down, air to breathe, and glimpses of God. Because we transcend nature, however, we can appreciate these gifts and go beyond them. We can draw a breath of air standing perfectly still, and by doing so, acknowledge God's presence. But only if we appreciate that we are breathing His air, only if we accept that all ground is holy ground because God has created it and judged His creation as good. I hope you guys had a great day, even though it was a little bit dreary. And I hear it's going to be beautiful tomorrow, so I'm looking very forward to that, and I hope you are too. I'll post the To Think and Pray About questions so you guys can discuss them in your families. And if you would like to reach out and share anything with me on Jupiter, that would be fantastic. Have a great evening.